You're watching TVC Breakfast. A proper investment in the art and culture sector will not only create employment opportunities for many, but also reduce insecurity and other economic problems.
Now, this opinion was shared by culture enthusiasts and tourism promoters at the Nigeria Cultural Festival performances ahead of an exchange program in Denmark. TVC News Olawakon reports.
In 2017, tourism accounted for 34% of Nigeria's gross domestic products. The sector also provided jobs for a fifth of the country's labor force. These colorful cultural performances will be showcased at the Nigeria Cultural Festival in Denmark later this year to attract tourists and investors to the country. Perhaps the exercise will boost Nigeria's economy.
We are going there because of economic forum. We want the bilateral agreement between Nigeria and Denmark that maybe the investor, we can bring down investor to Nigeria here, so that when there's a work, youth will benefit.
Given the nation's rich cultural endowment, many culture enthusiasts believe tourism can be used in value reorientation and more job creation.
If our youths are able to imbibe and to respect our culture, we should have a less unemployment, less insecurity in Nigeria.
Example those days, if those who sell goods just put it down by the roadside, put money there, and you see somebody come and buy, they put the money there. If it's going to be there for 3 years, the money will be there, nobody will take it. That's culture, belief. So we should now embrace it. Once you do that, corruption here and everything, I believe, will die down.
The government has a responsibility to promote the cultural assets of the nation, which will give Nigeria a competitive advantage over European nations.
Tourism alone brings over 260-something million pounds annually to UK. What are they showcasing in the tourism?
Interesting question. Joining me in the studio is a culture ambassador and coordinator of the Lagos Cultural Festival, Oladipupo Oluwatosin. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Now, there is an exchange program happening with Denmark. Why an exchange program in the first place?
Actually, we are trying to tell the whole world the rich culture of this great nation, Nigeria. Most especially those people at the diaspora that have all this negative notion about the nation. So we are trying to use this to correct those abnormality, the impression they have towards us here. That's why we are trying to showcase this down there in the Scandinavia.
And you think you're confident that this will actually change their mindset towards whatever notion they have about Nigeria and Nigerians?
Yeah, definitely. Because gone as those days, they've stole so many things from us. I could remember my dad told me then that the so-called price tag they are using over there is from here. Yes, because then when you want to sell anything, I mean the vendors, they will just place their bucket on the roadside, even without anybody, being there. And any buyer will just go there. Since there is all these, maybe like stones, all those stuffs,
they already know what
the price, exactly.
So, so they drop
they just drop their money, yes, then they go. They collect whatever they want to buy, then they go. Without anybody, assessing them, then there is nothing like all these CCTV stuff. So these are the things they've stole from us. So now, after giving us all those, they stole all that, they try to brainwash us with so many things.
But didn't we buy the idea? It seems we bought into that idea because now we have the CCTVs. We don't even do what you have said.
That is not our culture.
It's not our culture.
It's not our culture. That is technology. Let me put it that way. But it's not our culture. But then you have confidence that when I put my things here, I will definitely see it there.
So now, from my own point of view now, have we really, imbibed or brought back our own culture before we are selling it to people that this is who we are? You came to take this from us.
Yes, definitely. That is why we are trying to tell the whole world, using this medium, Nigeria Cultural Festival, to tell them that the notion you have towards us here is not what you thought. We have to change that. We have to eradicate those bad impression towards us. Nigeria of those days are not kidnappers. They are not all these Boko Haram stuff. That's not Nigeria. Sure, you understand? This is what we copy from them over there. So we are trying to go back there to correct those notions, to correct that impression that, see, this is Nigeria, pure Nigeria, rich of culture. Sure, you understand? So that they will be
But there's a saying that charity begins at home.
Of course.
But so how are you changing that mindset here as well, that we need to understand that whatever is happening around us is alien to us? Let's go back to who we are.
Yes, it's a pity that our government, I'm sorry to say, our government did not buy this so-called idea. They believe in using politics to settle all cases. No, we can use culture. I could remember when we got to Iku Babayeye, the Alaafin of Oyo then, he said something of such, that we can use culture to correct that bad image. We can use culture to unite ourselves again, to bring back those things that we lost. But, let's leave that for now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Oladipukpo Oluwatosin, for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Joining me in the studio is a culture ambassador and logistics executive of the Lagos Cultural Festival, Itete George. Victor, thank you so much for joining us on TVC
My pleasure.
Breakfast. Now, talk to us about being an ambassador of this cultural tourism.
Apparently, we are trying to portray Nigeria to the diaspora people so that they can see the importance of culture in Nigerians. But it's unfortunately that the government are not looking into the culture itself. Unfortunately that the government are not looking into the culture itself as revenue for the country. So in other countries, very, the government are taking the opportunity of the culture for the revenue to make a revenue for the country itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now that you want to sell the culture to other countries.
Other countries, yes.
Because?
Yeah, because we are planning a trip in
to Denmark.
Denmark, yeah. So we are trying to portray the Nigeria culture to the...
So what's your role in this trip when you get to Denmark?
Apparently, like I said, we are the ambassador. We have like a business forum on it as well, and we have like a crew that we're going to showcase to the diaspora people, so that they won't be looking into Nigerians as if the negative thoughts they have.
So what will you be showcasing? Dances, drama?
We have a dancers from different cultures, like the Yoruba, the Hausa, and the Igbos. So we have different type of dramas, different type of shows to entertain them and stuff like that.
Now, how long have you been doing this for?
Apparently, I'm from diaspora, so I'm based in the UK. So I only came for this program.
Why did you decide to be a part of this?
Yeah, it's a very when I saw the project, I was impressed. So it's a very good project because I've been in the UK for a couple of years, so I know how the system works over there. So with the little experience I've got, because I worked with when they were doing the Olympics in the UK. So I saw what they achieved and stuff like that. So I'm trying to share the same experience with the Nigerians people. So at the end of the day, my boss, Mr. Gbenga Oguni, right? So I try to sell the experience to them. This are the way we're gonna.
And they bought into the idea.
Yes, they did.
Now, how do you think, or how do you see this changing the mindset of people towards Nigerians?
Well, you see, culture itself, right? Culture itself is for the benefit of the country. So we want the people to look at the culture, to embrace it, right? When the people embrace the culture, culture teaches us a lot of stuff, right? It's not by dancing only or by this, no. In every part of the country, in Nigeria, there are different cultures. So those are the things we're trying to showcase. That's why we have this Wazobia dance, Wazobia dramas and stuff like that, to showcase it to the Nigerian people and to the diaspora as well.
Judge Victor Etete, thank you for your time
pleasure.
on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
Joining me in the studio is a cultural ambassador and business manager at Nigeria Cultural Festival, Alabi Joseph. It's good to have you join me right now.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Everyone, especially young people, are looking for money all over the place, hustling one way or the other. But there's so much money in culture, in tourism. How come they're not taking advantage? A lot of people are not taking advantage of this.
The problem is that they are not actually aware that they can make so much money from culture. And that is exactly what we are trying to do. To make them to understand that from culture and tourism, you can actually make money.
But is there something wrong with the way that the message is passed across? Maybe when it comes to promotion and projection of some of these ideas?
The problem is that the government are not interested, because the government know that if this idea about culture or trying to like bring our people back to the way we are, most of the money they are making, they will not make it. They are trying to discourage, even those some of us who are promoting it, they are trying to like discourage us from not even doing it. Because we believe, number one,
how does that prevent the government from making the
number
money?
one, we understand that banditry is not in our culture.
Yeah.
Kidnapping is not in our culture. Hostage taking is not in our culture. Ransom payment is not in our culture. And we understand that there are some people making money from, a lot of money from all these things. We believe that if we stop paying this hostage money, which is not in our culture, probably hostage taking will stop.
But it's easier said than done when you look at the some of the reasons why people go into some of these activities, which
that is where
the
job creation of a thing comes in. And that is why we are taking this thing to Denmark. Because...
Why Denmark?
Good. That is a very good question, sir. In 2015, Denmark was rated as the best economy in Europe. And based on our interactions with some of the investors there, through our contact from the African Chamber of Commerce in Denmark, we have discovered that there are so many of these investors in Northern Europe who are interested in investing in Nigeria. And because of the bad press that the Western European press are giving about the country, the image of the country is battered. So we felt that, okay, let's take this thing to them. Oh, some of these negative things in the press about Nigeria is not like that. And if you come and invest in Nigeria, some of these things that you are hearing will not be so. Like they talk about people migrating to Europe. We are like, okay, why not bring all these things down here? Instead of you shipping spending more money.
But how would culture, change that orientation, or the perception you talked about?
First of all, we want to change our mindset.
Okay.
That
back home.
Back home and there.
Okay.
We want to change our mindset there. That look, we are not bandits. We are not Boko Haram. That is only a very few percentage of the country that are into this. But the rest of us are good people. We are innovative people. We are creative people. Okay. So we believe that we're sending this message to them. Then we come down and put down the money. And we have also made some few contacts with some governors who we felt might be interested to go over there to meet up these investors.
Right.
Because
as a way of support for the idea. All right, we have to leave it here now. Joseph Alabi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right.